Hello everyone, welcome back to the B classes. So today we're going to study about if-else if ladder statement and nested ifs. So if-else if statement is a type of if statement. So we've already discussed that there are two types of decision making and branching statements, if and switch, and inside if there are three types: simple if else and if else if ladder. We have already studied about if and if else. Today we are going to study about if else if ladder. So first let us discuss about its syntax. So you already know the syntax of if, that is if test expression then curly brackets, and you already know about if else syntax, that is if test expression curly brackets else curly brackets, and inside this curly brackets here will be true block, and here this will be false block. And also remember, after completion of if else statement there is also a statement X, which is optional. Statement X may be there, may not be there, it is dependent on the type of program. So now we will talk about the if else if ladder syntax. So the if else if ladder syntax is if test expression else. You already know about if else syntax, it is almost same, but after else don't give curly brackets and start writing again the same thing, that is if test expression curly brackets else, the same thing, you have written the same thing, again write the same thing, again we'll write the same thing, if expression curly brackets else, and this will go on. So how many if else you will write? Infinite. You may write 2 and it can go till infinite, and remember it will always end with else. For example, you want to write 3 if else, okay, in if else if ladder, then this is 1, this is 2, and this will be 3. So after this you'll write some statement here in the last else, and then you will have statement X. Okay, there is no limit, you can have infinite number of if else in if else if ladder. So we'll be writing some programs, and after that you will get to know how we are doing it. So to understand if else if ladder, we'll do a program first using if, and then we'll convert this program into if else if ladder. So in board exam, I will advise you to do decision making and branching programs only using if or if else. I have already explained you in previous videos that all the decision making and branching programs can be done using if, but all decision making and branching programs cannot be done with if else. So if you are confused, always try to do the programs using if, and also don't try to do a program using if else if ladder. Okay, if else if ladder is a not advisable method to do programs. You should try all your programs using simple if. Okay, always use if to write your programs. But since this is in our syllabus, we are also going to understand how to write if else if ladder programs. So let us do a program to understand how to use if else if ladder. So this is the same syntax which I told about: if, then else, then after else again repeat the same thing, and it will continue. And always remember, an if else if ladder will always end with else. So if you are ending a if else if ladder with if, then that is a wrong syntax. Though it is called if else if, but it will always end with else. The last statement will be else, the last statement not be if. Okay, and it may have a statement X which is optional, depends on the program. So let us do a program now. So the program says, to foster a sense of water conservation, the Water Department has an annual water conservation tax policy. The rates are based on water consumption of the consumer. The tax rules are as follows. So this is the water consumed and this is the tax for the total water consumed. So first, before writing this program using if-else ladder, we'll write the program using simple if, so that it will be easier to convert it to if-else ladder. So in this program, if you divide this program into three parts, because all programs can be divided into three parts, that is input, processing and output. So input is, you have to tell what is the water consumed in gallons. Water consumed in gallons. And processing, we have to use these statements to calculate the tax rate. Means you have to calculate tax rate. And output, you have to print the tax rate. Okay. So first we'll create a class. Let it be C5G. Then we'll write the skeleton. Class C5G public void. So what is the input here? We have to input the water consumed in gallons. Let it be double C. C means consumed, for example. And according to these statements, we have to check what is the tax rate. So if the water consumed is more than 45 but 75 or less, that is less than 75, less than or equal to 75. So if water consumed, that is in the variable C, is more than 45, it's more than 45, but it is less than or equal to 75, but it is less than or equal to 75, then tax is 475.0. We'll also declare a variable tax to store it, double tax equal to 0.0. Similarly, for the next statement, more than 75 but less than 125. If C is more than 75 but less than or equal to 125, then we have tax equal to 750. Similarly, for the third case, more than 125, less than equal to 200. More than 125, less than equal to 200. Then tax is 1225.0. For the next one, more than 200 but less than equal to 350, then tax is 1650. And finally, if it is more than 350, then tax is 2000. And finally, after you have calculated everything, the last thing is to print the tax. So tax is present in the variable tax. Okay, this is what the program has asked about. You can improve the program by also asking the name of the consumer who is using this water, okay, and also print his name. That will improve your program. Though in the program it has not asked, but you can write it. So let us run this program and check. For example, name is Govinda and he consumed water of 56 gallons. Then tax is 475. Let us check. Yes, 46. It is more than 45, but 75 or less, so it is 475. Let us check another. Name is Farida and consume is 23 gallons. Zero tax. Why zero tax? Because it is less than 45, and you can check that we are giving tax only when it is 45 or more. Understood? So here what else you can do? You can add a if statement. If it is less than or equal to 45, then you can write tax equal to 0. But even if you don't write in this program, it will work automatically, because if nothing is true, automatically tax is 0. But it is advisable to also write this statement. In case it is less than or equal to 45, that is from 0. The minimum you can consume is 0, because it cannot be negative. 0 means you have not consumed any water till 45. Then the tax is 0. So this is the complete program in simple if. Now we'll convert this program into if-else-if ladder. Very easy. So how to convert a program written in simple if to if-else-if ladder? First case, before each if, write else. Before each if, write else, except the first one. So before each if, you have to write else except the first one. So this is the first if, forget this one. And all the if you are seeing, write else before it. So this is else. Here you will write else for this if. Here you will write else for this if. Here you will write else, and for this if, here you will write else. Done. Second bit, remove the last if statement. You will remove the last if statement. Which is the last if statement? This one is the last if statement. Remove it. Only remove the if line, not the complete thing. Only remove the if part, the if line. Now this program is successfully converted to if-else-if ladder. So whenever a program is asked to do using if-else-if ladder, first write the program using simple if, because simple if is the easiest way to write a program. After writing the program using simple if, add else before each if except the first one. Don't write else before the first one, except that all the if statement you have, write else before it, and remove the last if line. Here one if statement was there, we removed it. Remove the last if line, and your program will automatically get converted to if-else-if ladder. Now we will check the output, if you are getting the same output, and then I will explain how this program is going to work. So first we will give the input Govinda 46. So you are getting the same answer, 475. And next Radhika 23. We are getting the answer as 0. So now we'll run this program manually. So we took a name. Let it be any name, and then water consumed. Let it be 5 for now. Let us take 5 as the example and solve it. So here you are checking if 5 is less than or equal to 45. So it is true. True means tax will be 0. Tax will be 0. And you can see this if else. If you only talk about if else if statement, then if true block, else this whole thing, you can see this whole thing, I marked the yellow. This whole thing is inside else. In an if-else ladder, in the first else, the whole thing is present. So if true block is executed, false block will not get executed. So once tax is 0, it will come directly to the print statement. It will not execute these statements because it is inside the else block. It is a big else block. Though we are not giving brackets here. Here brackets are not required in if-else ladder syntax. But this whole thing is present inside this else. And now you will print the name and the tax, which is 0. In case the water consumed is 50, we increased to 50. Then in the first case, 50 less than equal to 45, false. False means it will go to else block. In else block, again there is if. If 50 is greater than 45, true. And 50 is less than 75, true. True and true is true. So here tax equal to 475. Tax equal to 475. So for this if, this is the true block. And for this else, this whole thing till the end is the false block. So if true block is executed, the false block will not get executed. So after executing tax equal to 475.0, it will automatically come to print statement. And here print statement is nothing but statement X. Okay. And now instead of 50, if it is 100, 100 less than 45, false, it will come to else. 100 greater than 45, false. 100 less than 75, false. Again it will come to this else. 100 greater than 75, true. 100 less than 125, true. So now the tax is 750. Now the tax is 750. So this is the true block, and for this else, this whole thing is the false block. So the false block will not get executed because true block was executed. So it will come to print statement directly. Similarly, if you increase to 150, then this if statement will get executed. What if it is 500? 500 means this is false, it will come to this else. This if is also false, this will come to next else. This is false, again this is false, again this is false. If this is false, it will come to this else. Automatically the tax will be 2000. Automatically the tax will be 2000. If all the if statements are false, it will come to the last else and it will store 2000. So even if we don't write if C is greater than 350, we didn't write here, then also it will work because we have the last else, that is tax equal to 2000. So if else if ladder is a little bit tricky, means the syntax is a little bit tricky. So without remembering the syntax of if else if ladder directly, always try to do like this. Write the program using simple if, then insert else before the if statements except the first one, and delete the last if line, and then your program will be sorted. It will work automatically, you don't have to worry. If you follow this rule, write the program in simple if, then convert to if else if ladder, you'll never make mistake in an if else if ladder program. If you try to write if else if ladder program directly, there is high chance that you will make a mistake. And generally the mistake is people forgot to write the last else statement and they stop here only. Means their program will end with if. If the program stops here, then your answer will be wrong. So it is better to follow the rules, write the simple if program first, then convert it to if else if ladder. Okay, understood? So this finishes if else if ladder. We will be doing more programs based on if else if ladder. Okay, now we'll move to the next thing, that is nested if statement. So what is nested if statement? If statement inside another if statement is called a nested if statement. What does this sentence mean? So you already know the syntax of if statement, that is if, test expression, curly brackets. And here we'll write statement block in this area. What if in this statement block we again write a if statement? inside this curly brackets we write another if statement. We can write. This is 100% correct. And this type of program is called nested program. An if statement inside another if statement is called a nested if. Similarly, you can also write nested if else statement. Means inside a if else you write another if else, then it is nested if else. Okay, so if you write one decision making statement inside another decision making statement, then it is known as a nested decision making statement. So there will be few programs where you need to write if statement inside another if statement, or a if else statement inside another if else statement. So you can write a if statement inside another if statement. You can write an if else statement inside another if statement. You can write an if statement inside an if else, and you can write an if else inside another if else. All these four things are example of nested decision making statements. Okay, if inside if else inside if inside if else, and if else inside if else. It can be of any form. Means within the curly brackets of if you will write another if. Inside the curly brackets of if you will write another if else. Inside curly brackets of if else you will write another if. Inside curly brackets of if else you will write another if else. All these are examples of nested decision making statements. Generally we call these are nested if statements. So let us write a small program to understand nested if. In the next class, through the help of output programs, I will make you understand about different types of nested situations. Okay. So program is write a program to find the largest number out of 3 numbers. If you remember, you have already done this program using simple if. Now we will be doing this program using nested if. So first I will write the program in the BlueJ platform, and then I will explain you how I did it. So first I will create a class C5H. I will write the skeleton class C5H public void. Done. And now our job is to input 3 numbers: AA, BB and C. And our job is to find the largest out of the 3 number using nested if. So first I will check if A is greater than B. First I will check if A is greater than B. If A is greater than B, then can we say A is the largest? No. Again we have to check if A is greater than C. So if A is greater than B and it is true, then again we have to check if A is also greater than C. If this is true, then we can say that the largest number is A. Understood? I will declare the variable L, which will store the largest number. So if A is greater than B, we also need to check if A is greater than C. And if it is true, then only we can say that the largest number is A. Else, so here A is greater than B and it is true. That means you can say that B is already smaller. And if A is greater than C, then obviously it is greater than B and greater than C, so it is the largest. Else, here we can say that largest is C. How? See, A is greater than B, so B is already small. Forget about that. So A is either greater than C or A is less than C. If A is greater than C, obviously A is greater than B and greater than C. And if A is smaller than C, then we can say that C is the largest. Why? Because B is already smaller than A and A is smaller than C. Then who is the bigger one? Who is the largest one? Obviously C is the largest one. Okay, done. But here if this is false, then what will happen? If this is false, then again we have to check, is B greater than C? This is false means obviously B is greater than A, and B is also greater than C, then only B will be the largest number. Else we can say that C is the largest number. So this is the program to find the largest number out of 3 given numbers using nested if. Here we have used nested if else. Okay, nested if means it talks about all the 4 types, all the 4 situations I told you. And finally we will print the largest number, that is system.out.println largest number is present in the variable L. Let us run and check if our program is correct. 5, 10, 15. Answer should be 15. We are getting the answer as 15. Okay. Now we'll take different situation and check if our program is correct. Okay. First case, A is 5, B is 10 and C is 15. So 5 greater than 10, false. False means it will go to else block. In else again we are checking. 10 greater than 15, false. False means it will go to else block. So in L we will store the value C. What is the value of C? It is 15. Done. Over. Then we'll come and print the value of L, that is 15, which is nothing but the largest number. So you can see easily that 15 is the largest number. You're getting the right answer. In the second situation, we have A as 10, B as 5 and C as 15. So here also the largest number is 15. So here we'll check 10 greater than 5, true. 10 greater than 15, false. False means it will go to else block. And in L we'll store the value C, that is 15. And now we'll come here to the print statement, that's the statement X, and we'll print largest is 15.0. Here also it is 15.0. You can see how in different situation different if statements are working. Third situation, A is 10, B is 15 and C is 5. So now 10 greater than 15, false. False means it will come to else block. Now 15 greater than 5, true. So in L the value of B will be stored. In L the value of B, that is 15, will be stored. So what is the largest? 15.0 is the largest. Another situation. Now let us take another situation. A equal to 15, B equal to 5 and C equal to 10. So 15 greater than 5, true. Again 15 greater than 10, true. So in L we will store the value of A, that is 15.0. So it will print 15.0. So whatever the values be, whatever the situations be, we are always getting the right answer. So this is the program how to do using nested. So in the future classes, so we'll be doing more programs on these types of nested situations, and we'll be getting to know how these things are working. For now, you got the basic idea of what is nested, how it looks, and also we talked about if-else ladder in this video. So in the next class, I'll be giving few output based questions. Try to solve it. Even if you are making mistake, don't worry. I will give you a solution video on all the outputs. Then after that, we'll be doing programs. I will help you do programs using if-else, if-else ladder and nested, so that you can completely understand how to write programs using decision making and branching statements. So now I will take a leave from you. Have a nice day. Thank you.